Hey guys, it's Sloan. Welcome back. I am back in the studio. I went, as you guys know, to Napa last week to shoot my new collection for Sincere Sheep, which is really fun. We went and drove all around the hills in Napa and just tried to find, beautiful scenery that was evocative of the vineyards and the natural environment that's so beautiful there and that inspires Brooke and has inspired so much of my work too. So we're really excited to get ready to launch that collection. Now I'm back frantically going through all the sort of pre-press work to get that out. So we had a full day of shooting, so I shot like 1,500 photos that I've now been going through trying to find the best ones. We had a great group of models. We had a really great time on the shoot. So I'll show you a little bit of behind the scenes about sort of how that went down. And I'm going through those photos and trying to pick the best, most representative ones that are going to go in the book, and trying to put together a really beautiful book that honors Brooke's work and what the environment is like and what's so special about her yarns. So it's really neat. I've worked with Brooke since I started designing. One of my first designs for my first book was in her Cormo worsted, which I've always really loved. So it was really special to get to do this project sort of in honor of their 15th anniversary and put together some designs that really honor the natural beauty of Napa and the wonderful natural colors that she's able to get in her yarn. So it was really a treat to get to do that, and to go up and shoot in that environment with her was really special. So she's going to be on in just a minute talking more about her yarns and what sort of they're best suited for and what she's got going on in their 15th anniversary. And I got to get back to boogieing on getting all these photos edited and getting all the patterns ready to get out the door. Both Brooke and I will be at Vogue Knitting Live in San Francisco this weekend, so if you are in the San Francisco area, it's a wonderful time of year to be here. We're having our great little Indian summer in the city, but we will both be there, and you'll be able to see the samples from the book and all of the patterns and all the yarn. So it'll be really exciting. I'll have more details on Instagram and in my newsletter about exactly when I'll be there. It's also my daughter's birthday, so we're having a little bit of a zany weekend, but I'm really excited to be able to be there with her, and to get to collaborate yet again on a bigger project has been really special. So thank you, Brooke. And like I said, Brooke's going to talk a little bit about, while I was up there, I asked her some questions about her new yarns and sort of what she's got going on going forward. So I'm really excited to share those with you. Hey Brooke, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So tell me a little bit about Covet.
Okay, so Covet is a project that I started a couple years ago when a family who farms in Marysville, California approached me, and they wanted something to do with their wool. And they happened to raise championship Rambouillet and Southdown sheep. And so they were just selling the wool, and they thought that they could do more, especially with the Rambouillet. It was the fall, so the next spring I went out and I helped them with their shearing. The Rambouillet that they grow is what's in Covet, and then along with that, I ended up being put in contact with an alpaca grower that's in Marin County, and so we bought, for the first year, fawn and white alpaca to blend with the Rambouillet, and then we had the mill blend it with a little bit of silk as well. And so the first year it's Rambouillet, white and fawn alpaca and silk, and then we have done a second edition that's just going to debut this year, and again it's the white Rambouillet but using black and gray alpaca and then white silk again. And my idea was that I wanted something, it's a 3-ply, so I wanted a round and lustrous yarn, and featuring California fibers. So part of it is that I have, almost all of my yarn is 100% wool, and so I wanted something with a little bit more of variety. And plus, there's a lot of alpaca grown here in the United States these days. Basically with the Covet, what I wanted was a blend to showcase not only American/California wool, but also be able to work in some of the alpaca, because there's a lot of alpaca grown here in the United States. So why not show off some of that? And also because so much of my yarn is 100% wool, that I thought it would be nice to add something that had a different fiber content in it as well.
What's your favorite thing to make out of Covet?
So I've made a lot of accessories with Covet so far, but I just finished my first sweater and it's really delicious. I did it at a slightly tighter gauge because I actually wanted to wear it as a jacket rather than a sweater, because here in California we don't really need like true jackets, we can just use sweaters as jackets. So with the alpaca and the silk content that makes it even warmer than just 100% wool, I figured that would be a good use. And the slightly tighter gauge allows it to hold its shape pretty well. Plus the Rambouillet, actually, with its elasticity, that crimp really helps garments and anything that you knit out of it really hold its shape. So even though you've got that drape and luster from the alpaca and the silk, that Rambouillet is really doing its job to hold the garment or the accessory or whatever it is in shape and, you know, allow it to keep its stitch definition instead of getting schlumpy.
And where is Covet spun?
It's actually spun at Batten Kill, which is up in upstate New York.
So you have another new yarn out this fall, which is your Eureka sort of sports DK weight, which is also, I guess, a made here offering now, but will be widely available, right?
That's correct. Yeah, so the Eureka worsted, which is the heavier weight version, was first for made here last year, and then now it is widely available. Though actually the mill took a while to spin it, so even though technically it was widely available, we actually didn't have it to dye until just recently. And so now we're doing the new weight, which is the DK, and so again that got sent to the Made Here club members, and then now this fall winter is widely available. DK is just a slightly lighter weight version than the worsted weight, and then next year we'll be bringing out the fingering, and all three of them are made with the Rambouillet from Bear Ranch, which is up in the northeast corner of California in Modoc County, Surprise Valley, and Lonnie Estelle of Lonnie's Lana, it's her yarn that I buy from her and dye. And one thing that I really think is very cool about what Lonnie's doing on Bear Ranch is that they have put into practice the climate beneficial standards that Fibershed created in conjunction with various state organizations in terms of trying to figure out how to ranch in a way that was actively sequestering carbon both in the soil and through the grazing process. So, you know, creating green hedgerows and composting, and so just through a variety of practices, really taking into account how sheep farming and other ranching can function in conjunction with carbon sequestration, which I think is really cool.
So we've done some projects together that we've spec'd in both your Cormo and in the Eureka, and they have different textures, but they've got some similarities too.
Yeah.
And I really love both of those yarns; they're fabulous. But tell me a little bit about how the wools are different that go into those, and how that affects, you know, what they're good for.
So the Cormo is actually, like, genetically is a blend, or was created by crossbreeding Corriedale and Merino, and so the Corriedale is considered a medium grade wool, and obviously Merino is a fine wool. It's fine and crimpy, and so to me Cormo has this sort of downy softness to it. It's kind of you know, especially the Cormo yarn, some people say that it has kind of a cottony feel to it, like in that it's a softness, and it doesn't have this sleek quality to it. It has this downy softness to it. I keep saying the same words, but that's what comes to mind is that, and you know, I sort of jokingly say it's like the cashmere of wools, and that that's the kind of hand feel that it has, instead of like alpaca and silk, which have that lustrous, cool drapiness to it in terms of hand feel. And frankly, Rambouillet is merino. It's also called French merino. It just diverges genetically from other merino, you know, a ways back, a few hundred years back. So, but again, fine, crimpy wool. So they're very similar in terms of that they are soft, and they are, you know, you can wear them next to the skin. They have a lot of elasticity, and so not too dissimilar. I think it's also just that they're spun at different mills too, and so that changes slightly how the hand is. I would say the Eureka is just a little bit smoother, but again, it's, you know, got that elasticity and softness to it that the Cormo has as well. So they both work well, pretty interchangeably. They're just, you know, it's sort of a subtle difference.
Yeah. And they both have a lot of like loft and bounce in how they're spun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what else do you have going on this year that you're excited about?
I'm heading into a very busy fall show season, so I'm getting prepared for that. I made more of a concerted effort to plant in my own garden a lot of dye plants, and so we've been messing around with that and just trying to figure out how to incorporate more of that into the dyeing work, because what can be hard for me is that I'm dyeing at such a large scale that using either foraged or grown goods requires very large quantities. And so trying to plan for that, because plants don't wait. When they're ready, they're ready. And so, like, yesterday I was harvesting indigo, even though I had other things I needed to do, because I wanted to make sure that I harvested it so it had another chance to grow and maybe I can get another harvest. So, you know, there's just kind of those considerations that I'm trying to work into my schedule, my already busy schedule. And so, but I'm having fun, you know, figuring that out and you know, just kind of taking it as a moment to relax and just, you know, harvest flowers in the morning and, you know, put them out to dry. And so that's kind of the other way, is that I don't have a big garden. And so how to maximize the amount that I'm getting out of it is that we're just drying stuff, and so that cumulatively we can try and get enough that we can actually work with. So I'm hoping that maybe I can do like a line that features stuff that I've grown or stuff that I've harvested, and like maybe do it on the Eureka worsted, so that it's a California wool and with California plants. And so I thought that would be a nice thing, but you know, it's adding one more thing into the schedule.
Everybody's got a long list.
That's right. Exactly.
So this is your 15th anniversary of running Sincere Sheep, right?
Yes.
So any thoughts on kind of the last 15 years and maybe what's next?
I can't believe it's been 15 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that just blows my mind.
Congratulations.
Right? I know. Thank you.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, I think of my business as a marathon, not a sprint. And that's the way that I've always treated it. And, you know, I'm just really appreciative of the opportunity to get to do it. Honestly, I still love what I do. It's a lot of work. But I've met fabulous people through it. And so that, you know, is really wonderful. And, you know, additionally, it's, you know, it just has led to so many different opportunities to not only get to know people, get to know places, and feel like, you know, I'm sort of doing my small part to support families who are, you know, farming and ranching, and families who own mills. And, you know, that just feels really good, honestly. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
So we're out here sort of in the hills in Napa.
Yes.
We came out to shoot some photos of some old patterns and some new patterns that we've done a refresh on. But tell me a little bit about being here and what, I mean, not literally in this field,
right,
but about being here and what sort of inspires you about being here in Northern California.
So Napa is a unique place. It's the second largest tourist destination in California behind Disneyland. And
wow.
So I joke that it's the adult Disneyland.
It is kind of adult.
It is kind of the adult Disneyland. And it's well known, obviously, as the wine country. But, you know, we also are really well known for restaurants. And so you know, if you live here, we are very lucky to have really good food all around, all the time, you know, really good produce. That's really awesome. And then the other thing is that, you know, you know, I appreciate the fact that people want to come here. It's gorgeous. It's a really lovely place. And so there are people who are visiting from all over the world. And so I really try to not take for granted where I live and look around and enjoy the beauty of it and, you know, see it the way that all of the tourists see it. And the concept of terroir that is really prevalent in wine, particularly right now, is something that for me, I've always felt like is, you know, applies directly to what I'm doing. And so, you know, it's nice to be in a place that is thinking about local food and wine growing.
We're hoping to find you and your yarn this fall at shows. Where can they find you?
So coming up, I have California Wool and Fiber Festival in Boonville, California. Vogue Knitting Live in San Francisco. I'll have my stuff in Morgaine of Carolina Homespun at Rhinebeck. I'll have my booth at what previously was called the Columbia Gorge Fiber Festival, but also called Not Another Fiber Festival. And also I'm going to do 2 different retreats, so that'll be really fun. And I'll have my yarn for sale at those 2 retreats. projects, but you know, they can find me on my website too.
And you are on Instagram
as Sincere Sheep, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Brooke. It's been such a treat to be up here with
Thank you so much.
and sharing the shoot and the projects we've done together today.
I appreciate it.
Thanks
you.
so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.